Hi, I'm Jason Driver. I am a local financial advisor at Steward Concepts, which is the investment program located at Family Trust Federal Credit Union.
How did you become a financial advisor?
Great question. So I'm originally from Maryland myself. I studied finance at Winthrop University here in Rock Hill. I got to Winthrop through baseball, and actually finance was not my first career choice. I was in sports management, but then transitioned to finance. Took several courses there on financial planning, which is sitting down with individuals or couples to help them, plan out for retirement or college savings, some financial goals that they have, and to figure out, what we need to do to help them achieve those goals. I came to Family Trust through an internship. So while I was still playing and attending school, I interned here. And then I also took my Series 7 and 66 exams to allow me to pursue the career, and I've been here ever since.
What is a financial advisor?
So a financial advisor, in my opinion, and what I would tell a client or a prospect is, think about if you have a question about a dollar, whether it's going to buy a car or what I should do with this retirement fund or how do I save for college. If you have a question about a dollar, come ask me. I'm here to help you figure out what's important to you, what are your goals, and how do we get there. The analogy I would use is think about me as your personal CFO, right? If you have a money question, I'm your guy, right? So I would say that's the best description of a financial advisor. But sitting down with people, figuring out what their goals are, figuring out what's important to them and helping them get there, that's the basis of the job. But I do like to go further of if you have a question about a dollar, insurance, loans, we're there for that too. We're not just a stock picker, although we do that as well and we're pretty good at it.
What is the average pay for a financial advisor and how is it calculated?
Great question. So average pay is obviously going to depend on where you live in the world, and especially the US, right? Your average advisor in New York City is going to make more than your average advisor in Arkansas. But according to US News, it's about $90,000 per year is your average advisor. And there are different setups depending on where you work of how that's constructed, right? There's usually going to be some element of salary and commission. And for example, a previous place that I worked, it was about, just call it 60% commission, 40% salary. Currently, it's closer to almost all commission. So, I mean, again, the structure is different from place to place, but the idea is if you build a good business with clients that you're doing a good job for, the pay can be about the same with each structure, right? If you're consistently generating a fee off of a client and you keep that client and keep building on it and you don't lose clients, meaning you do a good job for them, then your pay will go up over time. If something happens and clients aren't happy with your services, i.e. not a good job, your pay can go down because you've lost clients, right? So it's sales oriented, but it's a service business as well, right? With any sales, but you got to focus on good service if you want to build it the right way. So there are different constructs, but it's always going to be some component of salary and some component of commission. The longer that you're in the business, it's going to be a bigger component on the commission side as you grow your client base.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Series 7 and the 66?
Sure. So the Series 7, we'll start there. That is the federal securities exam, which allows you to sell a person a security. And most people will see that as a stock or a bond or a mutual fund. So you cannot sell or buy a investment for a person unless you have that license. Now what that is, that the Series 7, a lot of it is knowledge based, but it's also math calculation. So when you get into, if I buy XYZ investment or Tesla, for those folks right now, Tesla's a hot stock, based on their business or, how things are running and the value of the stock, what can I project their stock to do over the next 3, 5, 10 years based on their current situation. So there's a lot of math involved in my profession, but I will say, sitting down with people, you got to have more personable skills. That's very important. Soft skills, how to communicate, understand what's important to the person. That is definitely the most important skill set to have. but you also have to have the math to back that up as well. So it's kind of two jobs at once, right? Understanding the person's situation and then figuring out how to apply that with a portfolio. So that's the Series 7. The 66 kind of piggybacks that. The 66 allows you to give the advice and charge a fee for the advice, and that's more at the state level. But the Series 7 took about 3 months exclusively studying, and I was interning at the same time, so doing work on top of it, pretty difficult, but it's not a unaccomplishable goal. You definitely can get there, but you do have to put some work in and hone your skills to get through it.
What are some other occupations in securities that students could be looking into?
Great question. So starting here, at our local office of what we do, there's actually really two parts to the job that I would say even for us. And some companies, here we have a group of 5, and we have 3 advisors and 2 admin/insurance folks in our department. For the advisors, we handle both hats. We, set up the plan, we discuss client goals, we help service the client, and then we also manage the money, pick the stocks, pick the mutual funds, etc. A lot of places will segment that out to where if you're an advisor, you just sit in front of the client and go over the goals, and then they have a stock picker or an analyst that handles the money side. So even in our practice, at our level, there's really 2 hats. Other spot would be if you just went and were a securities analyst for like a hedge fund or a mutual fund, somewhere like Goldman Sachs or UBS, to be an analyst where you focus just on what securities you like or would pick for the fund instead of sitting in front of a client like, Bill Jones or a couple. You would just be dealing at the corporate level, not sitting across individuals. And then they also have the financial planning, which is what we do, where you just have people that do financial planning. That's more along the lines of what we do, but we do the securities as well. I would say those are the main 2 around the securities business. There are some others, but those would be the main 2 focuses, if you like to sit across from the average person or, a retail client, or if you just want to pick stocks. Those are kind of the 2 routes that separate you more from the personal finance, which is what we do, to corporate finance, which is more just securities based.
What do students do now to help prepare themselves for this field?
So there's actually a lot you can do, and there's a couple areas that I would focus on. First and foremost, any business course is going to help you, right? Whether you end up in this profession, marketing, accounting, what have you, business courses are going to build a foundation for you to get started there. I would say accounting, which is, honestly, I studied accounting in college, was not my most favorite thing, but the basic principles of, how to look at a balance sheet, how to calculate cash flow, all these different kind of things, very important on our side as well. I would say the difference between accounting and finance or financial planning, accounting is more backward looking of, what is the business doing currently? My business is more of projection, forward looking of what we think is going to happen, given the current environment and how things change. Another thing, if you really want to get into the math side, statistics is very important. Standard deviation, those kind of calculations, heavily involved in our business of how we're looking at companies, mutual funds, etc. But again, to kind of go back to something I mentioned earlier of public speaking. Not that you have to stand up and present to hundreds of people at a time in this job. Some people do, but not everybody. But being able to talk to a small group or even one-on-one, any course or what have you to help you with that public speaking, which is a fear for a lot of folks. Used to be one of mine, being honest. That will definitely help. Again, back to those soft skills, highly critical for this job field.
Great.